Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
Everyone
it.
is aware of the advantages of owning a car, but not everyone can buy a vehicle even worth several $100,000, not to mention premium cars. It is good when finances allow you to buy a car here and now for cash or by bank transfer, and most importantly, without overpayments. But most often you have to collect the necessary amount for years, which significantly distances the dream. Given the inflation and instability of the ruble exchange rate, long-term savings are not very promising. So even a loan with interest is often more reasonable. In order to get the desired car in the present time and not someday, many motorists decide to take a loan. This is the only option to purchase a car without the necessary amount of money on hand. Today there are many lending schemes, each of which can be favorable in this or that situation, but in any case, the decision to buy a car on credit should not be spontaneous. Here you need to weigh the pros and cons and really evaluate your own capabilities, taking into account that in addition to loan payments, to the usual costs will be added to the usual costs of car maintenance, as well as carefully study the conditions offered by the financial organization. Is it profitable to take a car on credit through the bank? Buying a car on any of the loan programs is always less profitable for the consumer than paying the full purchase price. It makes no sense for a bank to provide someone with cash disinterestedly. Today, it is possible to get a car loan from different banks, and the terms and conditions of loans can differ significantly. If the decision is made, and you are thinking about how to buy a car favorably on credit, you should take into account the following points. You should not agree to the first offer that comes along. It is better to apply to several banks at once, and then consider the options. An auto loan has a lower interest rate than a consumer loan. The difference between the two is significant. Remember that the smaller the down payment, sometimes it is even absent, the higher the interest rate may be. Express loans with a minimum package of documents, the only advantage of which is speed. Loans without down payment and other seemingly tempting offers, in fact, have a high interest rate, low maximum amount, and a short period for repayment. You should always carefully study the contract, especially the small print, to detect hidden fees, commissions, and penalties. The bank may increase interest on loans or restructure the debt. At its own discretion, claim the collateral in case of incomplete repayment of the debt. Most banks require the purchase of a hull insurance policy. In contrast to MTPL, it is a voluntary type of insurance, but almost always mandatory in the case of a car loan, because the purchased car is pledged to the bank until the repayment of the entire amount of the debt, and thus the organization that issued the loan can protect itself. You can buy both a new and a used car on credit. The state program, which implies the purchase of domestic cars with state support at the most favorable cost, is very popular in Russia. Not all banks allow you to pay off your loan early. Some of them may penalize for early repayment of debt, so all these nuances should be clarified before signing the agreement. It is important to choose among the many offers the best suited for yourself auto loan program, the conditions of which will meet your requirements and opportunities. The same bank can provide different loans with different interest rates, the amount of down payment, and other conditions. Read also what to do when a car tire punctures. It should not be forgotten that no financial organization that distributes loans is not engaged in charity and, by providing services, pursues the goals of their own benefit. Thus, all programs that offer undoubted advantages for the client, there is also the other side of the coin. The stricter the requirements for the borrower, the more loyal the program, and vice versa. The future car owner must determine its own priorities, as well as a sensible assessment of solvency, so that in the future do not overpay, at least for fines and penalties. Standard procedure for obtaining a car loan. Each loan program differs in terms of requirements to the borrower, the package of necessary documents, and other conditions, such as interest rate, terms, and maximum amount. Rate fluctuations are usually influenced by the client's income, credit history, loan currency, terms, and repayment schedule, which can be prepared on an individual basis. Typically, loans are repaid monthly in regularly decreasing installments. with interest accrued on the outstanding balance, or in equal installments over the life of the contract. It is also possible to pay on an individual schedule. When drawing up the contract, it is important to find out whether the possibility of early repayment is available without penalties. How to get a car on credit in the bank. The terms of issuing a loan in each bank can differ significantly. Certain requirements are imposed on the client taking a loan from the bank, as well as on the car. The amount is issued by the organization at an interest rate that varies depending on the chosen program and is 8 to 30% per year. The maximum amount in each bank can be set differently. Sometimes it is not limited, and the solvency of the borrower is always assessed. As a rule, to obtain a car loan, a number of documents will be required: passport of a citizen of the Russian Federation, TIN, certificate of income, copy of the labor book, notarized. Sequence of actions when applying for a loan from the bank: choosing a car and accrediting program, preparation of documents, submitting an application to the financial organization, preparation of the contract of sale of the car, payment of the down payment, registration of insurance policy, casco, signing of the contract by the parties. Fulfillment of all or several points depends on the banking organization and the program. Sometimes the bank may require additional collateral for the loan and the guarantee of third parties. Significantly spoil the picture of a bad credit history, as well as the absence of such, which actually sends the client to the ranks of unreliable. If the car loan is approved, one should not count on favorable terms. It is problematic for an unemployed person to get a loan. In this case, it is better to get a loan for one of the family members, because the requirement of most banks is a stable income and its sufficient size, confirmed by documents. Unofficial earnings cannot pass on the documents, even if in fact you have something to pay monthly installments. Of course, and non-working citizens can get a loan, but offers that do not require a certificate of income are usually quite unfavorable. How to take a car on credit in a car dealership. Car dealers often cooperate with banks. The choice of lending programs is not as wide as the choice of insurers, but the convenience of applying for a loan on the spot attracts many people. Now, in many large car dealerships work and credit counselors, representatives of certain banks, so for registration of the case will not become. To buy a car on credit, it is better to immediately visit the salon with the necessary minimum of documents. Often enough for registration of a passport, TIN, and driver's license, but a certificate of income will significantly increase the chances of loan approval. The application is filled out on the spot. The consultant sends it to various banking organizations, after which you will need to wait a couple of hours until you receive the results. In case of a positive response, the contract can be signed right at the car dealership. Read also, loan against the security of the car. How it works. Is it worth buying a car on credit in a car dealership? Purchasing a car on credit is often offered in car dealerships. The prospect of leaving the showroom with a brand new car is quite tempting, and that is the calculation, but you should not forget about a detailed study of the conditions, which may not be very favorable or unsuitable for your situation. High speed of loan processing usually increases interest rates, so you have to pay for convenience. The car dealership has few partner banks, so the range of choice of loan programs is much narrower. As for the insurance company, the client has the right to choose the company at his own discretion, and banks and salons incline the client to choose a particular insurance company with which they cooperate. In such a case, it is better to first evaluate the market of services and agree to the offer only if it is really beneficial for you. The advantage of buying on credit from a car dealership can be the opportunity to take advantage of various marketing programs. Discounts, promotions, seasonal sales are not rare, so sometimes it is worth considering the offer. In this case, you should soberly assess the situation, because if the overpayment on the loan significantly exceeds the amount of the discount, and in the end the car is more expensive than the car loan issued by the bank, the choice in favor of the bank is obvious. Offers of salons to purchase a car in installments or interest-free credit should be wary, because it is often a marketing move that allows you to disguise the high price or get rid of a stale car. To avoid disappointment, you should make sure that the installment offer is transparent. Usually in such cases, a large down payment, approaching half of the cost of the car, as well as strict conditions for making payments are assumed. It is also worth noting the trade-in and buyback schemes that are gaining popularity. The trade-in scheme is offered by car dealerships to those customers who already own a car. After inspection and evaluation of the used car by specialists, the car dealership offers a price for it. This amount becomes the down payment on the loan. In the case of buyback, the client is given credit for a part of the car's value. Thus, under the terms of the contract, the motorist has the right, subject to fulfilled conditions, to return the car at the end of the contract and take out a loan for a new one. Monthly payments are small, and the second part of the amount is paid with deferment on other terms. In fact, this type of lending can even be considered a car lease, because when the terms specified in the contract, you can sell the car again and repay the balance. For those who like to change cars, often buyback is a great option, but if there is a desire, you can keep the car and repay the debt on the terms of the contract. Each proposal from the bank, car dealership in the first place is beneficial to the organization, the client. The same program may be suitable for personal circumstances or not, so the question of choosing a credit scheme is individual. In conclusion, purchasing a car on credit can be a strategic financial decision when approached wisely. By leveraging low interest rates, taking advantage of promotional offers, and maintaining a good credit score, buyers can often secure better deals than paying up front. Additionally, financing allows for more flexibility in managing cash flow and investing savings elsewhere. Ultimately, understanding the terms and making informed choices can lead to a more profitable car buying experience. Thank you for watching, and we hope this information helps you make the best decision for your next vehicle purchase.